In the summer of 1984, moviegoers flocked to the midnight premieres of Ghostbusters and Gremlins. These after-dark movies were meant to be fun and enjoyable escapes from life's reality. But for the people of Southern California, the nights were anything but comforting. As the sun set each evening, windows were shut, doors were locked, residents gripped by fear that kept them awake at night, ears straining for the sound of jiggling doorknobs or the faint hint of breaking glass. A shadowy figure lurked in plain sight, targeting anyone and everyone, leaving behind satanic symbols near the remains of his victims, taunting the police and ensuring that the terror would linger for years to come.
The so-called Night Stalker who has terrorized California.
The same man is suspected in 6 to 8 murders and 25 to 30 attacks.
He's someone that will go into a home at night and will kill.
Welcome to Timeless Mysteries. Please like and subscribe. Today we discuss one of the most horrific true crimes in American history. June 28th, 1984. No one knew what was lurking in the darkness. That was until 79-year-old Jennie Vincow was found brutally murdered in her Los Angeles apartment. She had been sexually assaulted, stabbed repeatedly, and her throat had been slashed so deeply that she was nearly decapitated. The only thing police knew for sure was this was no ordinary crime. The discovery of Jennie Vincow's body shocked even the most seasoned detectives. It wasn't just the brutality of the murder that stood out. It was the complete lack of a clear motive. There was no sign of forced entry, no indication of robbery, nothing to suggest why this gentle, elderly woman had been so viciously attacked. For the residents of Los Angeles, the murder was a wake-up call, a chilling reminder that even the most innocent among them could fall victim to unimaginable violence. As the investigation began, the LAPD quickly realized they were dealing with a predator who operated with a terrifying level of stealth and ruthlessness. The randomness of the attack made it all the more frightening. Jennie Vincow hadn't been targeted for any particular reason. She was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that was enough for the killer. The police scoured the crime scene for clues, but what they found only deepened the mystery. Whoever had committed this crime had left behind very little evidence, and what was there seemed almost deliberately confusing. It was clear that this killer wasn't just out for blood. He was playing a game, one in which the stakes were life and death. The LAPD knew they had to act fast, but without more to go on, they were left grasping at straws. On March 17, 1985, Maria Hernandez was attacked outside her home in Rosemead, California. Although she survived the attack, the attacker then entered her home and killed her roommate, Dayle, Okazaki. Later that same evening, he also shot and killed another woman, Cailan Yu, also known as Veronica, and she was killed in Monterey Park, California. In the early months of 1985, this crime spree escalated with terrifying speed and brutality, and it was during this period that he began incorporating satanic symbols into his attacks, marking a chilling evolution in his methods. The first notable instance occurred on March 27, 1985, when the attacker brutally murdered Vincent and Maxine Zazzara in Whittier, California, in their home. After killing Vincent, the killer turned his sadistic attention to Maxine, ultimately gouging out her eyes and taking them as a twisted trophy. It was at this crime scene that police found the first satanic symbol, a pentagram drawn in lipstick on the wall. This marked a significant shift in his modus operandi, introducing a ritualistic and fear-inducing element to his already heinous crimes. As the rampage continued, the use of satanic symbols became more frequent. On May 29, 1985, he attacked Mabel Bell, also known as Ma, and her sister Florence, also known as Nettie. In their Monrovia home, the elderly sisters were bludgeoned with a hammer and shocked with electrical cords before using lipstick to draw a pentagram on Mabel's thigh and on the walls of their bedroom. This disturbing imagery left behind by the killer was not only meant to terrorize but also seemed to taunt law enforcement, suggesting a deeper, more ritualistic purpose behind his killings. The police began to connect the dots, recognizing a pattern of violence, the satanic symbols, and the specific methods of attack. They realized they were dealing with a serial killer who was not only brutal, but who also sought to instill fear on a psychological level. As the murder spree continued through the summer of 1985, the media began to take notice. The escalating number of attacks, the randomness of the victims, and the satanic symbols made for sensational headlines. The public's fear was palpable, and the press capitalized on it, with newspapers and nightly news broadcasts covering the story extensively. This killer, known by various names, including the Valley Intruder and the Walk-In Killer, due to the nature of his break-ins. However, as the frequency and brutality of his attacks increased, and as more satanic symbols and references were discovered at his crime scenes, the media began to focus on the terrifying, almost supernatural aspect of his crimes, leading to the adoptions of the moniker the Night Stalker, encapsulating the terror that the Night Stalker inflicted during the late night hours when he would strike. The media's daily coverage of the murders combined with the satanic elements only heightened the sense of dread that permeated throughout the city. The consistent presence of satanic symbols at various crime scenes eventually played a key role in linking the cases, as it became clear that this was the same individual behind a string of murders and assaults. The Night Stalker had become the most feared man in California, and his reign of terror was now a daily reality for millions of people. As the investigation continued, the city of Los Angeles found itself paralyzed by fear. The Night Stalker seemed to strike at will, leaving behind a trail of horror and confusion. Each crime scene was more gruesome than the last, and the satanic symbols became darker and darker. The police were no more closer to catching him, and with every passing day, the terror grew. Neighbors whispered about the devil in their midst, and rumors spread like wildfire. Was this a human killer, or was it something else far more sinister? Families huddled together, their homes fortified against an enemy they couldn't see. The question on everyone's mind: who would be next? The unpredictability of the attacks meant that no one felt safe. Would you have been able to go out at night knowing that the Night Stalker was out there? Would you be able to sleep wondering if the next knock on your door would be your last? But this story is far from over. In our next episode, we'll explore how the investigation intensified with the pressure on the police to make a breakthrough, and we will look at the turning point that finally brought them closer to their elusive target. The Night Stalker's grip on the city was tightening and the clock was ticking. Thank you for watching Timeless Mysteries. If you found this story compelling, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a member to support my channel. And join us next time as we unravel more of the mystery behind one of the most terrifying killers in all of American history.
A big deal. Death always went with the territory. I'll see you in business next.